I think that the publishing system has become so complicated that in a lot of ways, people don't necessarily feel set up for success. So I don't think it's because there's any conspiracy around, oh, just register at the PROs and you're fine. I just think that there are a lot of bases to cover. Here's the crazy thing about publishing is that you don't get paid your publishing royalties by default.
It's fucking nuts.
It's crazy, correct? Because your master royalties, you can't get music onto Spotify without going through a distributor, right? Without going to a DistroKid, a TuneCore,
exactly,
even a more indie distributor, label services, or a label. You can't get your music on Spotify without that. And that distributor needs to pay you your master royalties. But here's the thing. You could get to 100,000, 1 million, 10 million monthly listeners on Spotify and not collect a single dime of your publishing royalties, and nothing in the system would tell you that you're doing anything wrong, right? It's on you to understand, wait a second, there's a different type of income stream that I need to be monetizing as a music creator, and it's on me to raise my hand and actually put in these song registrations and collect those royalties, not just in one place, but in literally 100 places around the world. And I think that's why the notion of like a publishing administrator is so important, because the truth is, if I'm a songwriter and an artist and I say, I want to just 100% do this myself, I'm going to collect all my publishing royalties myself, I would have to go, like the amount of money I would spend in like account setup fees at PROs around the world would be like $10,000. And I still probably wouldn't cover everything. And I'd be now spending a full-time job in trying to
collect everything.
My royalties.
Yeah, and when you're really a songwriter and like...
you gotta be making music, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's where, what KOSIGN does, what Cobalt has done for the last 20 years is build an infrastructure to just say, we are gonna collect this money as directly as we can from DSPs, from streaming services. And we're going to be a single place that you can go, send in your music to maximize your registrations around the world so that you can collect the money that's yours. By the way, this is your money as a songwriter.
So what money is being collected and what is typically being missed in this scenario?
So what's being collected are global publishing royalties, which can be, if you're an artist who's starting to build a significant catalog, we're talking thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands a year, right? And I think what's most often missed, I think it depends. I think that there are some artists and songwriters who honestly don't know publishing exists, then they're missing all of it. I think that there's a second category who, and this is, by the way, there's no shame in being in this category, who say, okay, I will sign up to my PRO. I'll make sure I register there. It's a good starting point. You're still probably missing out on at least 50% or more if a lot of your streaming activity happens outside the US, right? So this is where, any artist, producer, songwriter who gets to a certain level, you notice that they tend to have publishers who are handling this for them.
Yeah,
it's not because they want to just have more deals that they're signing. It's because they want to maximize the value of the royalties that they're collecting. And that's where we sort of enter into the equation.
Right, because to your point, if you're signing up for a PRO at, say, an ASCAP or a BMI, they're only collecting in the US, they're not collecting anywhere else.
Yeah, and I can actually give a little more detail on that.
Yeah, please.
So people ask, why isn't just signing up to ASCAP or BMI enough? First, let me say, ASCAP and BMI are important parts of the ecosystem. Absolutely. And they're important partners for us.
And SOCAN in Canada.
SOCAN in Canada, PRS in the UK.
Shout out Cameron Kennedy, my guy.
Shout out Canada. We got Canada representation in the building.
Yeah, absolutely, all the time.
But what you'll find with the PROs are a couple things. One is that they only collect one type of publishing royalty, which is performance royalties, generally in the case of ASCAP and BMI. The other thing is that they only collect directly in one territory. So for ASCAP, that would be the US. They can sometimes cut side deals with other PROs called reciprocal deals, where they will collect, the UK performance from the UK society or the France performance from the France society. The issue there is that
SOCAN and ASCAP, exactly. To that point. Yeah.
The issue there is a couple things. One is that every single PRO takes their own cut.
All right, everybody, we're going to take a little break, because if you're listening and thinking, fuck, I could really use some guidance right now, and you're serious about building your career in the music industry, I'm now offering private strategy sessions. These are fully personalized, just you and me tackling whatever you need in your career. With over 16 years of experience working with artists, managers, and brands, I can help you map out your next moves. Now, whether that's structuring your team, scaling your brand, navigating the industry, even figuring out what steps to take, whether to go to a distributor or to a record label, and figuring out what are the best deal points. I can help you with your career with where you're at. You can now book a one-on-one with me through my Calendly, and you can find the link in the description. Now let's get back to the pod.
Yep. So we can create a kind of a daisy chain of different territories taking their cut. which also slows down
Before it gets
the money to get to you.
Yeah.
Time is money, right? So you have more sort of third-party middlemen. It slows it down. And often you don't get the best transparency. If on your ASCAP statement, you'll see something that's like, international. So there's nothing wrong with always sign up to ASCAP first. But if you want to really address, I think, the global picture of publishing royalties, this is where you would go to a place like KOSIGN, for example, who is registering it directly everywhere. And also, where possible, bypassing some of the traditional PROs to collect more directly from just streaming services, where we have infrastructure in place that allows us to do that. So again, that's why it's not that, ASCAP, BMI, PROs are bad. They're really good, but it's just in order to really maximize global collections, not just performance, but also mechanicals, not just in the US, but also internationally. That's where a global publishing administrator can really help level up someone's business.
Why do you think that misconception is so common?
I think that the publishing system has become so complicated that in a lot of ways, people don't necessarily feel set up for success. So I don't think it's because there's any conspiracy around, just register at the PROs and you're fine. I just think that there are a lot of bases to cover.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the value of having a single place that you can go, submit your songs and your splits on the songs, and just say, go out and register this everywhere. That's where that becomes such a valuable tool for building up someone's business. So again, I think it's a misconception that comes out of the fact that the landscape is too complicated. It doesn't set people up for success to try to tackle it one by one by one. And I think the value, in my career of really representing songwriters, working at Cobalt, we launched KOSIGN, is to take this really complicated system and make people feel more empowered to take charge of their publishing, but also to simplify their setup so that they can just collect as directly as possible and send their songs to one place and then know that they're good.
So it's literally KOSIGN is I go online, I log in, I put in the application, and then at some point I hear back whether I get accepted into KOSIGN and then off to the races?
Exactly. I mean, if you're accepted to KOSIGN, getting set up can take 10 minutes, right? It's like you get set up, you look at the KOSIGN sort of publishing agreement, which is a rolling quarterly agreement. It's non-exclusive. You can get set up on KOSIGN and deliver one song and then decide, you know what? I don't want to deliver the rest of my album. That's totally fine. Obviously, you can leave on a rolling quarterly basis. It's just sort of set up to be a tool for people to deliver their songs and have the global Cobalt admin team do the work of registering them around the world as directly as possible from streaming services to cut out those third-party middlemen and pay them quarterly. So exactly, it's a single place to go to have your songs registered everywhere, including, by the way, ASCAP and BMI. And if you are in Canada, SOCAN, we register at your home PRO as well, in addition to everywhere else around the world, just to maximize your publishing revenue. As a musician, getting paid everything you're owed is fundamental to being able to survive, to continue to make your art, to continue to invest into building your audience. And time is of the essence for artists. We respect people's time. And it's like, we want to make this really, really, really simple so that you can focus on the important stuff, which is writing songs, which is investing in your art, which is growing your audience.